My name is Haley, and this purpose of this video is to tell you all which dispositions I feel like I possess and that I could use in my classroom, and the dispositions that I think I could work on to moving forward for my first year of teaching. I believe that one of the most important dispositions is educators should believe that all students can learn and should set and support realistic expectations for student success. I think that it's important, especially in a special needs classroom, to keep that in consideration. You have to make sure that you set realistic goals for each student because they're not all the same. Sometimes one student may learn better one way than another does, and you should take that information, create a way for each student to learn whatever the specific information is so that they retain it. Students are not all the same. We as people in our everyday lives, we're not all the same. So it would be good to assume that they are all the same or that they all learn the same. I think this is a very important disposition. I also think educators should demonstrate professional friendliness, warmth, and genuine care in their relationships with others while providing intellectual, emotional, and spiritual support is another disposition that I possess, and I think that I will use this one to be a successful teacher. I think it's very important to create good, loving, and caring relationships or friendships with your students, your fellow educators, and anyone that you come in contact with in the learning community. I think that by possessing this, I'll be able to create those relationships and help my students get further in their education and help them learn and not only learn, but actually retain the information and be there as a support system for them, not just their teacher, but a support person that's there to help guide them and help them be successful. Dispositions that I think I could work on to help me in my classroom as my first year of teaching. Educators should recognize that reflection combined with experience leads to growth as an professional. I think this is something that I could work on. I have a hard time sometimes reflecting on the things that have happened or taking that and using it as a way to grow. I think that I could learn a lot from actually taking the time to reflect and then apply what I reflected on and what I could do different to the experience that I may be facing. And when I go into my first year of teaching. I also think the disposition that says educators should be committed to the professional and teaching profession of teaching and learning is something that I could do better at, but I don't think it's because I don't know, because I haven't. I think it's because I haven't done it. Because I'm not a teacher and educator, I'm not in the school system. I don't really think I'll understand what that commitment means until I become a teacher and until I'm in the classroom and I'm learning, or I'm teaching children and I'm learning also. So I think that that's something that I could also work on. I think that the most important qualities that a teacher or an educator should display is courage. Courage is very important because if you don't have the courage to help your students in the classroom or to stand up for them or just stand up in front of them and teach them your everyday lessons, then you're not going to be an effective educator. I also think that being able to recognize my mistakes and overcome them and learn from them is something that will help me a lot and is a good quality to have as a teacher. I think that goes back in what else I'm going to have to work on with the reflection and combining that with the experience. So that is all of the things that I think I need to work on, or things that I think that will help me be successful as an educator.